Thanks very much, Tim, and thanks to Share Cafe for the opportunity to talk about RAS Technology Holdings today, which is the owner of Racing and Sports. We're newly listed as of November last year, and this is obviously a new environment for us to be operating in, but it really does help fuel our global ambitions and plans for expansion of the company into particularly the US and parts of UK and Europe as well. So we'll flick through to the Racing and Sports overview slide to get started. Look, Racing and Sports has been around for over 20 years. It's a data technology and digital company primarily. However, it's been innovating and developing in that time to cover wagering operators, rights holders, private and retail customers, and racing bodies. We're well respected in the industry, having been around for such a long time. We've built up strong relationships, and we'll see some of those key customers later on in the slide deck. Racing and Sports provides premium data, enhanced content, analytics, predictive analytics as well for wagering customers, and these are primarily referred to as the best in the industry. We have customers all over the world, and you can see in the top right-hand corner there some of our key customers, and a lot of those have been with us for many years, something over 10 years in some cases. So a very loyal and sticky customer base built up over that time. For the data and technology that we provide, the industry is really second to none. There's been significant IP built up over the past 20 years as well, which has also led to the position where we are today, to really commercialise that on a global stage as the wagering industry globally takes shape. And we're seeing that in the US, particularly with the advent of fixed odds coming online over the next few years, as well as the market generally starting to pick up for pari-mutuel wagering in that market as well. Racing Sports is headquartered in Canberra. We have a UK office and a team over there that we're building. We have a support and tech office in Colombo in Sri Lanka, as well as the US operations, which are scheduled for this year, which are well in hand. Let's jump to the next slide for our capability overview. So Racing Sports has 5 key business lines, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen there. Wholesale data content distribution is probably the most long-standing part of the business, which really goes to our enhanced content, the predictive analytics, and the core service we provide to wagering operators. So we provide all of the information, content, statistics that they actually present on their websites. So it's a B2B service we provide, and as you can imagine, it's a core service for these operators to actually run their businesses. So a really great place for Racing and Sports to be a trusted provider in that regard, and also gives us the ability to innovate and create solutions, information, data, content solutions for those customers. Wagering technology and services is probably the newest part of the Racing and Sports business, being really around 2 to 2.5 years. We've been entering into the trading and pricing space, and that really goes through our trading manager and pricing manager solution. And that we've had great success in a very short amount of time with clients here in Australia, as well as overseas in the UK and the US as well. So that's continued to expand, and a really exciting place for Racing and Sports to be in that wagering tech space. There are other products we're also innovating on and developing, which will be due for launch in 2022 this year, which is really exciting. And they're things Easy Better, Pro Better, the white label wagering platform, and more to come. Specialist Data Services is really our specialist high quality analytics based products for specialist customers and private retail customers as well. So that's a growing part of the business for people looking for high quality information that we provide. And then the digital and media side of the business. We're very well known for the racingandsports.com website. We've been operating that for 20 years. It has over 2 million unique viewers every year, and that's growing, as well as over 40 million page views. So it's a really substantial digital asset, and we've got a lot of ambition to actually grow that internationally now across different jurisdictions and different geographical regions to help cross-promote our customers' interest, but also the interest of racing and sports. Let's jump into the next slide. The company highlights, and we've touched on a few of these already, but Racing and Sports has significant global coverage. We have a database containing over 30 countries of comprehensive racing information, as well as spanning over 20 years of that information. Now that's significant because that actually helps us drive and innovate and create those predictive analytics based on historical information, as well as producing the high quality information we provide to our wagering operators as customers as well. So the database is something we own. We've built that up over 20 years. It is the most trusted and most comprehensive source of racing data anywhere you'll find in the world. And we certainly hold that very close to our DNA. It's the core of our business. It's how we do what we do and create those wonderful analytics and visualizations that our customers use. The strong domestic presence and reputation of the company. Racing Sports is well known to be a leader in the industry. The relationships and reputation have been built up over that 20-year period, and we continue to enjoy that trust from our clients today in the market. We're well positioned as an essential service provider, and we have a high degree of enterprise customers and no churn. So that really says a lot about the company's profile in terms of looking after our customers and the ability to upsell and grow with them as they change their businesses as well. So really fortunate position for Racing Sports to be in, and something that we take very seriously. And also the ability for us to scale and convert our products into key territories around the world. So Racing Sports is an expert at converting content, data, analytics into regionalised formats for different markets. So that might be the US market, the UK, Europe, even internationally. We have a Chinese translated version of the Racing Sports website, as well as Chinese translated versions of our products. And we're currently working on other translations into other countries' formats as well. So that's an exciting place for us to be, and these things are constantly evolving as demand increases for different products from around the world. And our partner arrangements, Racing Sports has got some great partners around the world and is in the process of forming some new ones presently, which we'll speak about hopefully in the coming days and weeks, which are quite exciting for the expansion, the growth of the company. Let's go to the next slide. So the key performance metrics of the company, look, you can see that from 20 to 21, we've had a 39% increase on pro forma revenue, which is a fantastic result and certainly a trend that we've continued to see. This is really driven by new customer contracts of around $1 million and expanded services of enterprise customers of around $500,000. So it's been really exciting to see that growth. And half of the customers relate to the Trading Manager platform, which is the new wagering technology side of the business. Which is very pleasing. So, and that continues to have increased uptick in the business even today, which is wonderful. You can see the EBITDA shows significant growth up to 1.4 million in FY21, and that's also been driven through the flow-on effects of increased revenues, maintaining tight operating expenditure throughout the back half of last year and also into this year as well. We've done a lot of automation, a lot of intelligence baked into the processing frameworks and the way we conduct the business, and that's also enabled us to scale and grow the business effectively and efficiently as well from a cost perspective. And also the AMRR, pleasingly, the AMRR's increased by 75% to 6.6 million for the June 21 period, and it's continued to grow in the first quarter of 2022 with an additional 1.4 being a 20% result from increase on June. So really pleasing for the business of our size to be growing so consistently, and really goes to as a result of all those characteristics of the company that I've spoken about before, the long tenure, 20-year plus tenure in the industry, trusted relationships and ability to upsell and infiltrate with those customers into new geographic markets as well, so as a trusted provider for them. Let's hop on to the next slide. Yep, and the next, the key customers by segment. So you can see there's some pretty big name brands. This really breaks them up in terms of Racing and Sports as business lines. So you can see the centre box there, wholesale data content distribution is by far the biggest part of the business. And this is really where these companies and more rely on the Racing and Sports enhanced information, enhanced content, analytics, predictive algorithms to provide them with the data that they then provide to their customers. So it's a really essential B2B service, long-standing customers, recurring contracts, a really good place for Racing Sports to be. And again, a service we take very seriously to make sure we are the best in the industry, in the world at providing content. And I think, by and large, you ask anybody in the industry and they will know that Racing Sports services, the majority of these companies provides the content that they use for their daily operations. Wagering technology and services, again, the growing part of the business. We've got a couple of big names there, and they're expanding as we see it today into new customer segments, both here in Australia, but also in the UK and the US, which is pleasing. And digital and media, again, just touching on that, we've been around a long time in the digital and media space, and that part of the business is set for a big year in 2022 with some exciting growth into international markets for digital and media and content. So next slide. Custom milestones, you'll see going back to the year 2000, starting with Timeform, and then the uptick of customers through that time, and you'll see the ramp up from around 2015, 2016, when online wagering really became prominent in Australia, but also globally. And you can see the uptick has been fairly consistent for racing and sports to acquire new customers, big names, and hang on to those customers, often upselling additional services and content and data and technology services to those customers as well. So really pleasing long-term track record. This industry is really based around trust and ability to deliver, and that's not just the Australian or Australasian market, it's also the global markets as well. So racing and sports is well positioned to continue the trend of customer acquisition as we continue to push into international markets. Next slide. This slide's a really good one. It actually just gives you a good overview of how big the wagering market is globally. And you can see there, Australia's down the bottom, and it's quite a mature wagering market. So, with that regard, it's actually quite a good benchmark, I guess, for the rest of the world. And you look at the US with the population size, yet the wagering turnover is actually quite a lot lower. Therefore, you can extrapolate the size of the market there will only continue to grow, and racing and sports is making big inroads into the US market from a content, data, analytics, and also a fixed odds perspective. Presently, we're working with XBNet for the export of US racing and fixed odds exclusively into Australia and New Zealand, and also working with a partner for the distribution of that into the US as well. So it's a big market for us to be playing in. We cover all of US racing as it stands today. And the domestic market has only continued to evolve. So when that continues to mature, we'll be perfectly placed to take advantage of that. To the next slide. The globalization of racing is happening. We have, as I said, a comprehensive database of racing information, harness, thoroughbred, and greyhounds. And that obviously leads us to be able to convert product into any regional or geographic format that we need to sell into wagering operators and support the growth of the wagering industry as a global product. And this is really important because all these countries are looking to export their racing product into time zones that can actually take and participate on converting into wagering turnover, and racing sports is a key enabler of that process. So really important to note there. Jump on to the next slide. The revenue model. So the majority of our revenue is recurring revenue streams, which is obviously pleasing, and they're very sticky clients, obviously multi-year contracts that keep on recurring. So a really fortunate place for racing and sports to be, and it just goes to show that 75% AMRR increase year on year from 2021. So and a trend we're seeing continue as particularly as your racing and sports starts to get a footprint in those new geographical regions. Jump on to the next slide. The expansion plans of racing and sports. So internationally, we're looking at the US, the UK, and Europe, and continuing to service our clients in Australia and enter into new markets here with our wagering technology. A really exciting place for the company to be. Sports is a new frontier for us as a company. We have a lot of analytics and processing frameworks that we've built up specifically to take on sports and provide the same sort of analytics we've been doing for racing. So this process has already started. And that's a several-pronged process about the analytics, the data, also the editorial and digital and media side of that process as well. So we're actually fusing all of that together to create a new product, which I think will be exciting for our customers in a B2B, but also a B2C sense from our digital assets. So that's something in 2022 to watch out for, and something we're really excited about. And also acquisitions. We're looking for companies that actually fit our expansion and our growth plans from a technology, a data, and also a market positioning perspective. So again, opportunity to find companies and work with companies is already underway. So jump on to the next slide. And these are some of the products that we're pushing into market at the moment. The trading manager is already available and working with customers Australia, UK, and the US. The white label wagering platform, Easy Better, and Odds Grid are all due for 2022. And they're really going to change, we believe, the market in the way that customers interact with wagering operators, for the better. So it'll be an exciting year ahead, lots of ambition and lots of IP built into these products and services for the market. We'll jump on to the next slide. We've already touched on the financials, so I think we're running short on time, so we might skip over this one as well. And look, just the board and the executive team. So a lot of pedigree in the racing industry. From Gary Crispe, who's been in the industry for 35, 40 years and has an impeccable track record. Myself, Stephen Crispe, have been in racing and sports for over 20 years. Andrew Burns, the Chief Financial Officer with significant ASX experience. Robert Bukaitis, our CTO, who is the chief innovator of of the technology and solutions that we push into market, which is a testament to his ability, and Brent Dolan in the UK. So he's been leading the charge on the Northern Hemisphere, and we're building a team around Brent, which is exciting for us. And we have a great board as well on the next slide. And you can read through some of their bios, but they're a high-powered board, and they're a great benchmark for the business to grow from. And with that, I'll hand over to you, Tim. Thanks.
Thanks, Stephen. Almost out of time, but a couple of quick questions. We did our research in the background, and there's been a lot of M&A in this kind of sports data area. Genius Sports, which supplies NFL data, just sold for $1.5 billion to a tech company in the US. I think it's listed on the New York Stock Exchange. So for you specialising in racing, who's your international competition, and is there room for further consolidation?
Look, I think there is room for consolidation in the wagering sector, and we've already seen significant consolidation within Australia from wagering operators. In terms of data, content, and digital, there really is no natural competitor for racing and sports in the market. We have significant digital reach through our media assets. We control and offer the newswire assets today. We work with race clubs here in Australia for actually providing them their media coverage that then they push out into mainstream media. And also the digital enhanced content we provide as a B2B service to our customers as well. No one has the analytics, the predictive models, the ability to compare races from anywhere in the world against each other, compare horses from anywhere in the world against each other, and come up with those predictive models. So we really are in a very unique position for a global perspective for the racing service, and also pushing that into sports as well.
And it must be a hell of a process to collect all this data. So if you're talking to someone like Bluebet, what is the actual data from a practical sense you giving back to them? Is it the jockeys, the horse weight, the results, all that sort of stuff?
So it's, enhanced predictive comments and verdicts. One of the products that we provide them, which are those. So essentially, when you read, if you go to a bookie's website, Bluebet, for example, and you read the comments, for each horse, each runner, each race, we provide all of those using, but they're all based out of the database. They're generated through a process that takes several hours to run up actually for every meeting, because every operator gets a customized set to them, and that provides the analytics, the 5-star form, and the predictive ratings that they use to actually assess a horse. So when a customer goes there, you want to give your customers the best chance of winning. That's the aim of the game, so they participate and feel like they've got an opportunity to have fun and engage.